So last time I was a bit of a Debbie Downer. This time I'm writing the script in my YouTuber voice. This voice definitely takes a lot out of me and is very exhausting. Look, I'm jingling the keys. Don't you dare click off this video. Oh yeah, I play video games. Let's get started. I talked about my game being a massive, total, colossal failure last episode. One of my biggest mistakes I made was not giving this channel enough of my time. I got so engrossed in working on what I loved that I forgot to do what I have to do to keep this place alive. So this episode, I wanted to see if I could blend this work-work balance a little better. How can I create art through video while also being entertaining? I thought long and hard. Long and hard. I really just spent a long time on this one. Look, I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty, okay? But while playing, I realized that I need to have a better structure to my videos. A through line of absolutely audacious, alliterative attention assembly. A precarious, precious, precise, prevalent plot. A checklisted, curiosity-led creative challenge. A generally great game-generating grievous goal. Alliterative sentences are hard, so just imagine that I said 2 or 3 more right here. This seriously superior, specifically selected segmented system isn't enough though. I've got to throw in some flair like BAM! Every video can be broken into 3 main parts, but the glue is the gameplay highlights. Instead of making a boring-ass chart and losing all of your remaining attention, I'm gonna be making it in real time in front of your eyes with an example idea. Step 1. Establish the concept. I'm calling this section the pillars because it holds the video up and establishes the goal, challenge, task, job, or other word for massive amount of work that a video takes up. This is the hook. It's catchy. You like it. As I said before, I've been playing just a ton of Call of Duty. That's awesome. And as much fun as I'm having, I can't get over my previous love, Titanfall 2. I miss my big daddy Scorch. I miss burning the rebel scum into dust and redefining cruel and unusual punishment. I miss launching EPGs through the air while whipping around the map at the speed of sound. My creative juice flavor this week is silicon and gunpowder, if you can't tell. So for this project, we're going to try to replicate a Titan in Unity and then make it fire some missiles. Every project needs a style, and I'm a one-trick pony, so we're going to do low-poly cuboid models and low-res textures made in Blockbench, then exported into Unity via the newly added Blockbench export option, FBX, which packs a material and all the animations into the model file. This should help cut down the time it takes to make things in Unity by a significant portion. After all that, I could jump straight into the final product, but instead...
Stand by for Titanfall.
Step 2. Show the process. For this part of the video, I think I'll stay fast-forwarded unless I need to point something out specific about the work I did, or past me has a comment. I'll probably throw some music over this part, something more calm to keep the energy a little lower before we peak back at the end. This process is going quite smoothly in the test project, but it took a nosedive very quickly when I put it into practice for the video. Every project spawns endless sub-projects. There's always a skill you can practice before you finish your goal. This video spawned 2 3D models, an enemy, which I used to practice the workflow off-camera, and a player, which was made on-camera. Let me just say, if I had run into the issues in my final project that I had in the practice project, I would have abandoned this video. I mean it, nothing went right. But we'll talk more about that later. For now, let's focus on what's actually happening in front of us. Sometimes people argue about variable naming rules, and sometimes people say you should capitalize public things and not private things. But today I realized that System Vector 3 back and Unity Vector 3 back are only differentiated by the capital, and this causes frequent auto import fumbles. So it doesn't matter, is what I'm saying. Hey guys, Editing Skylar here. So I really don't have anything to talk about during this segment. It's really difficult to script commentary. Maybe this segment should be used for like viewer questions. Maybe I should go through and answer people's comments. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Hold on, let's do that. It's Cora says, hi. Hey. Courtney Hinkle says, Manny, you can add a netherite hand that can grow big and choke out mobs. That's actually a really cool idea. I don't know how well I could implement it, but it definitely sounds fun. I've been thinking about the netherite hand quite a bit. But no matter what I come up with, it's just nothing seems to be worthy of netherite, you know? It's so expensive and it would take so much work to get that I just can't come up with something that isn't just it do big damage, you know? Chris says, your vids seem to be heavily influenced by the internet historian. Yeah, they are. Great channel. I watch everything he makes. Caleb says, imagine there's a lich that doesn't do anything and he just enjoys life and lives on a beach somewhere. Yeah, man. That's why I've been putting all of my points into spellcasting classes. Alright, and here's some impromptu green text because I don't really have any other comments to read. Build small block house. Truly happy. Been working at a kindergarten last year. One day, not a single child showed up. COVID just started. Just spent the whole day building a giant building block castle with the other employers. Best day of my life. Do you remember what it felt like to play Tone, sink a few shots on target and unload your shoulder missile right into their face? Do you remember how good that felt? For this project, I want to make our model shoot some missiles. But first we need a system that shoots missiles. I added a flat plane, gotta have something to look at. Next, I made the camera spin with a simple script that I stole off Stack Overflow or some other code website that I don't remember at all, but I frequently end up on. After that, I made the camera shoot a few balls out by loading a prefab from a resource folder. I don't typically like doing this. I much prefer to do it the hard-linked prefab way. Either system works, and it's really just personal preference, but for this test, it's not going to make that much of a difference. I also used Cortinians to make the missile look at the target as it flies there. Look, I've never said that word out loud once in my life, so forgive me if I said it wrong. Next up, I made the balls fly around randomly based on some more code that I took from a random post online. And this ended up just being random plus or minus 10 in every axis for the target. The balls do not look like missiles, they look like a bunch of randomly bouncing balls. After this, I used random point inside sphere to add some random variance to the pathfinding. After 3 random points, they are then set to the real final point and home in on the target. When they touch the box in the center, which has the unity tag destroy, they self-terminate. I added a cube and spun it around with the same code from the camera, then pointed the ball spawner at the cube and made the cube spawn the balls. Next up, I had to import my mech into Unity. This is where things started to really unravel at the seams. Way back in the beginning, I made a mistake and accidentally made my model facing the wrong direction. Let this be a lesson to you. Always know which direction is Y forward. This will come back to haunt us. One of the cool things about the new FBX process in Blockbench is how it keeps all the animations in the file with the model. This saves me a ton of time having to either animate directly in Unity or reanimate directly in Unity. Earlier in the test, everything worked just fine. I was able to successfully import a model, then apply the texture, then apply the animations, build an animator, etc., etc. However, this time it did not go to plan. To start, the model was backwards. After setting up the animator, it just started randomly breaking over and over. There was a setting in the import to fix some axis issues, and this fixed the model, but it also broke all the animations again. The animations are now just a little bit off. There were keyframes in new places, and the keyframes that were around were interpolated in weird ways. They had odd curves and strange values that were seemingly randomly different. The length of these keyframes is all wrong too. Some were half as long. Many Google searches later, I found someone saying all you had to do was copy all the keyframes, then paste them into a new clip file, and they'll be fine. And sure enough, they did. Why? Unity, why? I don't understand. This is not sustainable for a project with hundreds of models, you know, like a video game. Later, I found a way to quickly copy all the animations by highlighting them all, hitting Ctrl-D to duplicate them. However, you still have to go into each of them, copy the keyframes, delete the keyframes, and then paste the same keyframes back into the file. When doing this, the keyframe data is somehow fixed. The length grows, new keyframes appear, old ones disappear, values return to normal. It's completely bizarre. So now we have the model and the animations, but they're still just a little off? Too smooth? Whatever, I don't want to break them anymore. I'm sick of this. Then I added the animator, and that was a whole thing. I added layers and got started with the states. I made a top layer, a bottom layer, and a master layer. I tried so many combinations of things here. Every time I fixed one thing, something else would break. I tried over and over and over again to find a combination of settings that would make this damn model look right and behave correctly, but I just could not get it to work. The entire thing was scuffed because way back at the start, I accidentally made my model 180 degrees flipped. Wow. Eventually, I reached my breaking point and I just gave up on making the model work, so let's move on to making the mech walk around. I added a nav mesh agent and baked a quick nav mesh, and then quickly started issuing commands to the guy to have him slide around. Then I can at least try to make him walk. Wait, why is he butt scooting? Oh, right, the model's 180 degrees flipped. Okay, if I enable humanoid rigging, I can flip the model around, but then all the animations are broken again because now they're generic animation files instead of humanoid animation files? Why? Wait, what? Those are different? How do I make a humanoid animation file? Why is there no setting for this? Why is Unity like this? Oh my god, whatever. Let's just move on and make the mech fire missiles. Now we have to make a thumbnail disguising my failure. After this part is done, but before we move on to the next, I'll write up something clever that transitions smoothly into an ad that gets cut out for the channel members and patrons. Oh, there it is! We're talking about the channel members and patrons. You can join for as little as $1. This month, I'm highlighting some members who have been with me for the longest. After all that, we fade to black for Part 3, the reveal. For this part, we slam back into a fully lit, fully loudified video and audio showing what all of this work was for. Here I leave some room for final comments on the project. Alright, I gotta be honest with you, this project did not go at all how I thought it would. I mean, look at it. The missile doesn't even come out of the gun. I think I could fix it, but man, it would just take me so long, it's not even worth it, especially not for just a little test project like this. Then I asked the viewer what they thought. How did I do? Did I execute my concept? Call and response, ask the viewer to engage. After that, it's a tease for the next video, if I have any ideas. I think I do this month. Future Skylar, go ahead and put that right here. Then, list all the patrons and call the end slate.